What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the real of reality TV. Now, listen, Simon basically is letting Porsha know you will not be using me, my home, emphasis on my, and anything that I don't want you to be talking about on RHOA for a storyline this season. And so he is wanting he's wanting some information. So this is coming from the Bravo Shade Room. So it's saying that Porsha's soon-to-be ex-husband Simon demanded she turn over a copy of her passport and every page in the book, along with all texts she exchanged with RHOA producers about their divorce. According to court documents obtained by Radar Online, Simon gave Porsha until April 4th to produce a series of documents as part of their bitter split. Now, I'm assuming her attorneys are going to be either trying to get this quashed or requesting an extension of time, because although this story is not just being reported, or this didn't just happen as a request yesterday, the deadline is tomorrow. Simon instructed his ex to turn over a copy of her passport book, copies of all payments to any hotels or motels. Dang. Porsha staying at the Motel 6 from Super 8 from January 2024 to present. Proof she hired an armed bodyguard who she said came to their home recently, and all video and audio recordings taken at the marital home from February 2024 to present. He demanded Porsha turn over all contracts and agreements with RHOA producers, True Entertainment from 2022 to the present. Dang. In addition, he asked for all texts and emails between RHOA producers and Porsha regarding her, quote, return and participation as a cast member to RHOA from 2022 through the present. So Simon said Porsha should give him all texts she shared with producers about him, their divorce, their prenup, and storylines and or topics for Porsha regarding RHOA. The list also asked for all communications they exchanged in Porsha's possession and any recordings she has of him. And listen, I'm definitely not a Simon fan. I'm definitely not a Simon fan. But I am not even mad at him for this, because I would even wonder at this point in time what the producers of the show, as well as NBC Universal, is thinking in terms of this investment that they made into Porsha coming back. I said this before, and I will be adamant on it. I really don't believe that they made a great choice in bringing her back. And I believe that they're regretting this now. I don't know if there's a way out for them, but they might want to consider those options of breaking the contract, because I just don't think that they're going to be getting what they were hoping for. I already thought that the deal that they made with her for producing scripted content was absolutely ridiculous, because what in Porsha's career and her resume gives her the experience, or even just mere deserving that opportunity to produce scripted content for NBC Universal? Porsha Williams. Porsha, who said that? Williams. Porsha, I'm Cordell's baby doll. Williams. Porsha, Amazing Grace. Williams. Porsha, Queen of Thoughtlandia. Williams. Porsha, preaching up in the pulpit against the LGBTQ community. Williams. And then later, Porsha being a part of the LGBTQ community. Williams. Like, this girl, listen, all of these things that are coming out now, I sit back and I am not shocked at all. And I remember some years ago when the news broke about her being with Simon and how they're engaged. They had been dating for 30 days or whatever, and now they're engaged. And at that time, I was on Clubhouse, and I remember this Clubhouse room opening up. And I joined in just to listen, and I decided to join the stage. And these people, not all of them, but for the most part, they were celebrating what she was doing. And I said, are you all really serious right now? Like, one, I know people can say you can't steal a person. A person makes a decision to go where they choose to go. So you can't steal a man or whatever. Okay, fine. But she knew that she got with someone else's husband. I don't care what the wife was doing. The wife could have been a whore for all I care, sleeping with 3 different men a day that she wasn't married to. I'm not saying that's okay. But when people try to deflect and put the attention on the wife that he left for this woman, I said, do you really think that she's going to be living this amazing, fabulous life the way he was with his current wife at the time, Fallon? Do you really think that Portia's going to get better? And they were just bigging it up, saying, oh, she's getting her bag. She's leveling up. The mentality of people these days is just absolutely ridiculous. And it's really sad because, yes, we all have bills. We all have responsibilities. And most of us do have aspirations, goals, and desires to live lives that may be better than what we used to live. But at what expense? At what stake? What do you give up in order to do that? And there are some people who are not willing to go that low for the sake of material things that honestly don't last forever. And look, she got locked out of the mansion. Her name was not on the home. When that news came out, I said, yeah, it's probably because that's his house. He bought it. She was living there with him, but his name was on the deed and the mortgage, not hers. Even though they were married, I don't know how you can legally lock somebody out of the house that you're married to just because their name is not on the deed. But it's also a risk that you take when you get with a petty person like Simon, that she thought she was getting the best of, when honestly, it's looking like she may be getting worse treatment than Fallon got. Okay? But anyway, that is being reported that Simon is wanting those documents to be produced, and he wants them now. And I don't know where this is going to go, but I do believe that the RHOA producers are sitting there shaking their heads like, what did we get ourselves into? I really felt like they should have just started over. If they were going to do a reboot, I feel like, and I said this before, I felt like they should have just done a complete reboot. Give it a couple of years off to find the right people. You can't tell me there are not some thirsty people, even those who may just have a little bit of money, but not much. Because let's be real. The Real Housewives of Atlanta, at least, if not the other franchises, but primarily Real Housewives of Atlanta, it hasn't been about fabulosity and people that are wealthy ever, to be honest with you. Because in the first place, the first season, the only one that really had money, well, I would say the only two, and that didn't last, was Lisa Wu, who was married to Ed Hartwell at the time. And it was because of his career. They're no longer together. And they were starting to lose those things as, the season was going on because of his injuries and stuff like that. And then Deshawn Snow, who did not come back after the first season, and then some years later found out her husband was being unfaithful and was being dirty and whatever. Nene was living on rented time, rented, places, but acting as if she was extremely uber wealthy. Kim was living off of Big Papa's money. And, who else was there? Yeah, Candy came on later, and Candy was a celebrity, but was she wealthy? She had money. I'm not saying that she wasn't rich, but was she wealthy? No, she wasn't. And I have no problem with someone living a modest lifestyle and has a lot of money, because that's honestly smart to live in a home that you've lived in for years, add to it, build up the equity and whatever. But I'm sure they could have found people who really wanted to be on TV, who had some semblance of money or whatever, and they weren't just super broke. But we already know these people, they get on these shows to get some Bravo celebrity status so that they then can really make more money. They leverage their faces being on these shows. Most of them don't come on being people that really do have a lot to lose. They're not going to get those types of people like that for the most part, unless it's just someone who's just super thirsty for attention. And a lot of them are not, because a lot of them, they live in the neighborhoods where the celebrities do live, and they're living regular lives, as regular as you can get being wealthy, but they don't want the attention. They don't want the cameras. They don't want to be seen. They don't want to be known. They really don't want to be known. Okay. So bringing back Porsha, I feel like was a huge misstep on their part, but hey, I don't care, but I just wanted to talk about it. And speaking of decisions, and I did not watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills last season, but the chick that was axed off of the show, now she's making claims that Garcelle wanted to be the only Black woman on the show. And I don't think that that's fair, but I'm just going to go ahead and play this clip of what she had to say. And in typical fashion, Carlos the court jester with his messy self, is the one that's interviewing her and asking her a question like that, which is just ridiculous.
You came on the show. Do you think Garcelle wanted to be the only Black woman on Beverly Hills Housewives?
I did get that feeling. I think that she's been able to get away with unnecessarily playing the race card so many times unchallenged, because who can challenge her, right? The other ladies can't challenge her. So I think that's been her play for so long.
You came on the show.
All right, you heard what she said, and Carlos is asking her that because that's what he's thinking. And then she wanted to just go along and agree with it. I don't have to watch that season and see what was going on to think that that's just not true. I really don't believe that Garcelle is intimidated in any way by having another melanated face and body to be a part of the show that she's been the first to break ground with on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, being that, I hate to call it that, token, but let's just say what it is, you know? So I really believe that she would welcome it and want it, but does it mean because you are another melanated face and body that you're going to get along and whatever? From what I've seen about her, she has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, you know? But it's just tiring when it comes to things like this, because it gives me a little bit of the RHOP vibes. You've got Wendy and Aneka, both Nigerian. I do believe that on RHOP, there was a little bit of a rift already there, but I like Wendy. I've seen things of her over the years that's really warmed me up to her. I didn't not like her in the beginning. I just didn't really know what to feel about her. And I just had my questions about her in the very beginning, but I've warmed up to her. And I really don't believe that Wendy has an issue with Aneka, but I do believe that some of the beef may be silly, but I do believe that when it comes to that tribal stuff that I am not familiar with, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole or even attempt to. But I do believe that it is sad when you have someone like Aneka, who may have tried to redeem herself a little bit on the reunion, but still trying to, be a little bit neutral in a way. We haven't seen all of the other parts yet, so we don't really know where that's going to go. But I do believe that it just kind of gives me those type of vibes where you have two women that have this thing in common, and then you have this rift, and it was almost like Aneka was trying to come for Wendy in the beginning, and the Green Eye Bandits were here for it. I don't know. So what I've seen of people saying this Anne-Marie chick, she actually was trying to be a little bit similar to what Aneka was doing when it comes to teaming up with the others, if you get my drift. So for her to be out on this press tour now to say that Garcelle wanted to be the only black woman on the show, this goes back to Carlos King being sort of called out by Garcelle and Sutton. I don't know if you all recall that, but it was something that he was saying with regards to them being fake friends or something like that. And both of them checked him on it. And Sutton was like, I don't even know who Carlos King is, but, so he's still with his ego and feeling like everyone on Bravo should know who he is because I'm Carlos King. I'm the king of reality TV, that everyone on the network should know who he is. Everyone doesn't. And his ego was bruised. And so he's still harping and holding on to that because both Garcelle and Sutton checked him. So now here he is with the pettiness interviewing Anne-Marie and asking her, well, do you think that Garcelle wanted to be the only black woman on the show? Boy, bye. And girl, bye as well. But anyway, you all let me know what you think about all of this, about Porsha and Simon. Simon wanted those receipts. And what do you think about Anne-Marie trying to throw Garcelle under the bus? It make her seem like she's Tim Scott, like she wants to be the only black face in the room of a sea of other Caucasians. Thanks for being here, liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.